There is a powerful force within you, a quiet, unwavering knowing that you were not placed here to live in lack or limitation. The truth is, abundance is not something you chase, it's something you align with. A millionaire mindset has nothing to do with the number in your bank account. It has everything to do with the frequency of your thoughts. You see, your thoughts are energy. They shape your reality. When you think small, you invite small outcomes. When you think big, you open a space for the universe to flow into your life with all the resources, ideas, and connections that match that bigness. The size of your dreams doesn't intimidate life, it awakens it. You are not here to shrink so others can feel comfortable. You're here to shine, to expand, to create boldly and fearlessly. To act bigger means to move from a place of certainty, not because you see the whole path, but because you trust that the path will reveal itself as you walk. The key is to shift from a mindset of how can I survive to how can I serve at the highest level. Every great fortune, every world-changing idea was born from someone who believed they could make a difference and took action in alignment with that belief. But understand this, action without alignment leads to exhaustion. First, align with the energy of abundance. Feel it now, not in some distant future, but right here. Feel what it's like to already be living your highest potential. To have the freedom, the impact, the creativity, the joy. Let that feeling guide your next step. When you move from that place, from inner conviction, your actions carry power. You don't need to force results. You allow them. You attract opportunities, partnerships, and ideas that reflect your inner state. So today, I invite you to think big, not just for yourself, but for the lives you can touch, the legacy you can leave, and the love you can express through your gifts. And then act bigger than your doubts, act bigger than your past, act bigger than the limitations others tried to place on you. You are infinite, you are capable, you are here to create without limits. Let go of the small story you've been told. Step into the vastness of your true self. Think big, act bigger, and watch the universe rise to meet you. Abundance is often misunderstood as something that exists outside of us. A number in a bank account, a luxurious home, a prestigious job title, or material possessions that prove success. But true abundance has little to do with any of these things. It is at its essence an inner state of being. It is the deep awareness that you are already complete, already enough, and already connected to the infinite source of all creation. When you live from this inner awareness, the external manifestations of wealth and success naturally follow, not because you are chasing them, but because you are aligned with them. There is a vast difference between striving for abundance and living in abundance. Striving suggests a lack. It implies that something is missing, that you must struggle or hustle to acquire it. But living in abundance means you already feel full, whole, and supported by the universe in this present moment. This inner sense of abundance generates a powerful energy field around you, attracting experiences, people, and resources that resonate with your state of being. The outer world reflects the inner world always. When you begin to recognize abundance as your natural state, lack no longer has power over you. Scarcity is not something out there, it is a mindset, a belief that there isn't enough, that you are not enough, and that life is limited. But life is not limited, it is infinite. Just as the ocean has no shortage of water, the universe has no shortage of opportunities, ideas, or wealth. When you tune into this infinite nature, you tap into the wellspring of creativity, love, and prosperity that exists within you. This is why abundance cannot be measured solely by material gain. There are people with great wealth who live in fear, anxiety, and insecurity because they believe it could all be taken away. And there are others with modest means who feel rich in love, peace, purpose, and joy. The difference lies in their inner perception of abundance. One lives in fear of losing, while the other lives in trust of receiving. The one who trusts is open, receptive, and grateful, and therefore continues to attract more of what nourishes their life. Gratitude is the gateway to abundance. When you are thankful for what you already have, no matter how small, it multiplies. Your attention expands your experience. Focus on what is missing and you feel lack. Focus on what is present and you feel abundance. This shift in perspective transforms how you approach life. You stop seeking validation or wealth from outside sources, and you begin to radiate it from within. This inner radiance draws abundance into your experience effortlessly. When you cultivate an abundant mindset, you act from a place of confidence and generosity rather than fear and scarcity. You give freely, trust freely, and move through life with ease. You no longer compete or compare because you understand that your abundance is not dependent on others losing. It is infinite and ever-flowing. You become a channel for this energy, and everything you need begins to flow to you, often in unexpected and miraculous ways. To live in this awareness is to understand that abundance is not something you acquire. It is something you realize. It is a way of seeing, a way of being, and a way of relating to life. When you embody this state, you discover that abundance was never something you had to chase. It was within you all along, waiting for you to recognize it, embrace it, and allow it to express itself fully in every area of your life. Everything you experience in life begins in the unseen realm of thought. Your thoughts are not just fleeting mental activity. They are powerful, creative forces that shape the reality you live in each day. What you consistently think about, focus on, and give energy to begins to take form in your life. This is not just an abstract idea. It is a fundamental truth that has been echoed by spiritual teachers, philosophers, and scientists throughout time. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world, and the quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your reality. The mind is like a garden, and your thoughts are the seeds. You can choose to plant seeds of hope, abundance, joy, and possibility, or you can allow fear, doubt, limitation, and negativity to take root. Whichever thoughts you nurture most will grow and eventually become the experiences of your life. If you constantly dwell on what you lack, what's wrong, or what could go wrong, you begin to attract more of those experiences. Your energy contracts, your vision narrows, and life starts to mirror your internal struggle. But when you shift your thinking to what is possible, to what is good and expansive, your entire energy field changes. You feel empowered, and that empowerment influences your actions, decisions, and the people and opportunities that enter your life. Every belief you hold is simply a thought you've repeated over and over until it became part of your identity. Some of these beliefs uplift you, and some limit you. The key to changing your life is to become aware of these thoughts and question them. Are they helping you grow, or are they keeping you stuck? Many people unknowingly live in a mental loop of scarcity, failure, and fear simply because they haven't realized they have the power to choose a different thought. When you take responsibility for your thinking, you take control of your life. Thoughts are energy, and energy attracts like energy. When you think thoughts of abundance, gratitude, and love, you vibrate at a higher frequency. This higher vibration begins to magnetize experiences that match it. People often think success or happiness comes from outside circumstances changing, but the true change always begins within. You must first think it, feel it, and believe it before you can see it. This is not wishful thinking, it is the natural law of creation. Visualization is one way to consciously shape your reality with thought. When you visualize with emotion and clarity, your mind cannot distinguish between what is imagined and what is real. It begins to organize your actions, your focus, and even your unconscious behavior toward bringing that vision into reality. You start noticing opportunities, taking inspired steps, and aligning with outcomes that reflect the picture in your mind. This is why so many great achievers emphasize the power of mental rehearsal. They understand that reality follows thought. Moreover, your thoughts influence how you interpret the events of your life. Two people can go through the same situation, and one may see it as a problem, while the other sees it as an opportunity. The difference lies in their perception, their thought patterns. Life is not just what happens to you, it is how you think about what happens to you. By choosing thoughts that empower you, you transform challenges into growth, setbacks into lessons, and fear into courage. Ultimately, your thoughts are the blueprint for your life. They lay the foundation for everything you build. If you want to change your life, begin by changing your thoughts. Start each day with awareness. Notice what you are thinking and ask yourself whether those thoughts support the life you want to create. The more intentional you are with your thoughts, the more deliberate and fulfilling your reality becomes. It is within your power to think differently, and by doing so, to live differently. Your life will always rise or fall in direct proportion to the thoughts you choose to dwell upon. Before any meaningful action can take place, there must be alignment. Alignment with your purpose, your values, and the energy of the outcome you seek. Far too often, people leap into action out of fear, urgency, or the need to prove something. They try to force results, believing that working harder or doing more will bring them success or fulfillment. But when action is not aligned with your inner truth, it becomes scattered, exhausting, and often unproductive. True, powerful action flows naturally from a place of internal clarity and alignment. Alignment means being connected to your inner self, to the still, wise part of you that knows your true path. It's the experience of feeling centered, at peace, and in tune with the flow of life. When you are aligned, your thoughts, emotions, and actions are all moving in the same direction. There is no internal conflict or resistance. In this state, the actions you take carry greater power, precision, and impact because they are backed by the energy of intention rather than the desperation of lack. When people act without alignment, they often chase goals that are not truly theirs. They follow what others expect or what society defines as success, and in doing so, they lose touch with their own inner guidance. This leads to burnout, frustration, and a constant feeling of not enough, not doing enough, not having enough, not being enough. But when you pause, become still, and tune into your own desires and values, you begin to act from a place of authenticity. Your actions then become expressions of who you are, not attempts to become someone else. Aligned action feels different. It feels light, inspired, and guided. You don't have to force it. It arises naturally from a place of certainty. You may not always know every step ahead, but you trust that each step will reveal itself at the right time. This trust comes from knowing that you are connected to something greater than your mind, a deeper intelligence that is always working with you and through you. When you act from this space, the right people, opportunities, and resources begin to appear to support your journey. It's important to understand that alignment is not a one-time event. It is a practice, a moment-to-moment awareness of whether you are moving in harmony with your true self or being pulled by external pressures. Each day you can ask yourself, is this action coming from love or fear? Am I moving toward expansion or contraction? Does this feel true to who I am? These simple reflections bring you back into alignment and ensure that your actions are not just busy work, but meaningful steps on your path. Moreover, when you are aligned, you become more receptive to intuitive nudges, creative ideas, and subtle signs from life guiding your direction. You no longer rely solely on logic or planning. You allow space for inspiration to lead the way. In this state, what might have once seemed impossible begins to unfold with ease. Life becomes cooperative, not competitive. You don't need to push or struggle. You only need to stay in alignment and respond to what is being shown to you. Aligned action also carries a sense of joy and fulfillment. Even when the task is challenging, it feels worthwhile because it's connected to something meaningful. There's a sense of purpose behind every step, and that purpose fuels your energy. You are no longer acting to get somewhere. You are acting because you are already connected to the destination within. Ultimately, alignment precedes action because the inner state always creates the outer experience. When you are aligned, your actions are charged with the energy of intention, clarity, and authenticity. And from that energy, real transformation begins, not only in your life, but in the lives you touch along the way. Success is often defined in terms of personal achievement, wealth, recognition, power, or influence. But true, lasting success arises not merely from what you gain, but from what you give. When your focus shifts from self-centered ambition to meaningful service, your life takes on a deeper purpose, and in that purpose, success becomes not only possible, it becomes inevitable. Service is the pathway to fulfillment, and it is through contribution that we truly thrive. Service is not about sacrifice or losing yourself to others' demands. It is about expressing your unique gifts in a way that uplifts, empowers, and adds value to the lives around you. When you live with the intention to serve, you tap into the higher part of yourself, the part that is connected to the greater good, to humanity, and to the infinite source of all creativity. In this state, you become a conduit for something much bigger than personal gain. And paradoxically, when you give from this place, you receive in ways that far surpass anything you could have achieved through striving alone. Success that is rooted in service is sustainable because it is fueled by authenticity and love. It's not dependent on external validation or short-term wins. You're not chasing approval or competing for scarce resources. Instead, you're contributing something real, something needed, and life responds by supporting you. The people you serve become your greatest advocate. Opportunities open, connections form, and abundance flows, all because you have made yourself available to be of benefit. Serving others does not mean neglecting yourself. It means recognizing that your highest fulfillment comes from being in alignment with your purpose. Purpose is always tied to service. When you ask, how can I help? How can I add value? How can I make a difference? You activate a force within you that is powerful and magnetic. You begin to see opportunities where others see obstacles because you are no longer looking for what you can get, but for what you can give. And the act of giving becomes a source of immense joy and inner wealth. Service also connects you to others in a profound way. It dissolves the illusion of separation. In serving, you understand that what uplifts another also uplifts you. The energy you send out returns multiplied. This is not just a philosophical idea. It is a natural law. Life supports those who support life. When you live in service, your actions align with the greater flow of life, and you are carried by that flow. Things seem to happen with more ease, more grace, and more synchronicity. Moreover, service is the birthplace of innovation and creativity. When your goal is to solve real problems and meet real needs, you tap into levels of inspiration that go beyond personal interest. Great ideas often emerge from the desire to make life better for others, not from the desire to make money. And yet, when you solve problems in a way that genuinely helps people, success, including financial success, follows naturally. People are drawn to those who care, who contribute, who make a positive impact. Even in moments of struggle or doubt, focusing on service brings clarity. It pulls you out of self-absorption and connects you with purpose. You stop asking, what's in it for me, and start asking, what's trying to emerge through me? How can I serve this moment? In doing so, fear loses its grip, and you find strength and direction. Ultimately, when you lead with service, success becomes a byproduct of living your truth. You no longer need to chase it, you become it. And in becoming it, you discover the real reward, inner peace, deep connection, and the knowledge that your life matters because it touches others in meaningful ways. Abundance is not something to be chased in the distant future. It is something to be felt and lived right now in this very moment. Many people believe they will feel abundant once they achieve certain goals, once they have more money, a better job, or external success. But this mindset keeps abundance always just out of reach, always dependent on circumstances. The truth is, abundance is a state of being, not a destination. It is a feeling that arises from within, independent of outer conditions. When you feel abundance now, you begin to align yourself with the energy that naturally attracts more of it into your life. This inner sense of abundance begins with appreciation. When you truly notice and feel grateful for what you already have, your breath, your body, the sky, the people you love, you shift your awareness from lack to fullness. Gratitude is the soil in which abundance grows. It is impossible to feel lacking when you are immersed in sincere gratitude. Every small moment becomes rich. Every simple thing becomes a gift. You begin to see that abundance has been surrounding you all along. It was simply your focus that needed to shift.
Feeling abundance now also requires you to let go of the illusion that joy is somewhere else. You do not need to wait for the perfect conditions to feel joyful, peaceful, or fulfilled. These are inner experiences you can choose right now by tuning into the present moment and opening yourself to life as it is. Often the mind wants to postpone happiness. I will be happy, but the heart knows that now is the only time there is. When you allow yourself to feel abundant in the present, you align with life's natural rhythm, and from that alignment, good things begin to flow. Visualization is a powerful tool to activate this feeling of abundance. Imagine the life you desire, not just the things you want, but how it feels to live that life. What does it feel like to wake up with a sense of purpose, to move through your day with freedom and joy, to connect deeply with others? Feel that version of yourself now, not in some distant future. Your mind is a powerful creator, and when you feel abundance internally, your subconscious begins to align your actions, decisions, and energy with that reality. Many people believe they must do more to have abundance, but the most powerful thing you can do is become abundant in your thoughts, feelings, and energy. From this inner state, the right actions arise naturally, not from fear or striving, but from inspiration and flow. Life responds not just to what you do, but to who you are being while you do it. When you feel abundant, now you radiate a vibration of wholeness, and that vibration influences everything around you. Feeling abundance now also means releasing the need for comparison. You stop measuring your worth by what others have or what you lack. Instead, you recognize that your journey is unique, and everything you need is already within you. This frees you from the trap of scarcity, where there is never enough time, money, love, or success. In the present moment, there is always enough. When you relax into this truth, you find peace, and from peace comes clarity and creativity. Finally, to feel abundance now is to trust life, to trust that you are supported, guided, and connected to a greater intelligence that is always working in your favor. This trust allows you to let go of anxiety and control, and to open yourself to receive what is meant for you. The more you trust, the more you relax. The more you relax, the more abundance can flow to you, not because you forced it, but because you allowed it. Feeling abundance now is not only possible, it is the key to creating a life of true richness, one filled with joy, peace, purpose, and prosperity. These stories can be empowering, or they can be limiting. Limiting stories are the ones that whisper you're not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy, or that success, love, and abundance are for others, but not for you. These narratives run quietly in the background of your mind, influencing your decisions, shaping your actions, and often holding you back from stepping fully into your potential. The truth is, you are not your past, and you are not your story. You are the awareness behind them, and you have the power to rewrite them. Limiting stories usually begin as beliefs, and beliefs are simply thoughts repeated over time. They may have been formed in childhood when you didn't yet have the tools to question what you were told. Perhaps someone said you were too slow, too loud, or too different. Perhaps you failed once and concluded you would always fail. These moments planted seeds, and over time, those seeds grew into deeply rooted narratives about who you are and what is possible. But just because something was believed for years doesn't make it true. What was learned can be unlearned. What was believed can be questioned. Begin to notice the internal dialogue that runs through your mind, especially in moments of challenge or change. When an opportunity arises, do you hear thoughts like, I can't do this, or I don't deserve this, or what if I fail? These thoughts are clues pointing to the stories that may be limiting you. Don't judge them, simply observe them. Bring them into the light of your awareness. You cannot change what you do not acknowledge. Once you become aware of a limiting story, ask yourself, is this absolutely true? Who would I be without this story? Often you'll find that the story is based on fear, not fact. It's a defense mechanism, a way your mind tries to keep you safe by avoiding risk or failure, but in doing so it also keeps you to live fully. You must be willing to step beyond the safety of old stories and into the unknown space of possibility. Replacing the limiting stories with empowering ones is an intentional practice. It begins with choosing thoughts that support your growth, your worth, and your potential. For example, example, instead of thinking I've failed before so I'll fail again, you can think every failure has taught me something valuable and brought me closer to success. Instead of I'm not ready, you can think I am learning and growing every day and I trust myself to begin. These new narratives become the foundation for a new identity, one rooted in self-trust, courage, and vision. Overcoming limiting stories also means releasing the need for external validation. You don't need approval from others to rewrite your life. You don't need permission to believe in yourself. The most powerful validation comes from within, when you know who you are and trust the inner voice that says, there is more for me and I am ready to claim it. This inner knowing becomes your compass, guiding you beyond the boundaries of old beliefs. Action is the final piece of breaking through limiting stories. Every time you take a step in the direction of your desires, despite fear or doubt, you prove to yourself that the old story no longer has control. Confidence is built through experience, through showing yourself that you are capable, resilient, and worthy of the life you envision. Each small step creates momentum, and over time, a new story is written, one where you are no longer held back by the past, but empowered by the present. You have the power to release what no longer serves you, to choose a new narrative, and to step into a version of yourself that is not limited by fear, but liberated by possibility. The story of your life is not finished. You are the author, and you can begin a new chapter anytime you choose.